Hi, I am Michael Hollins, the managing attorney at the Hollins Bankruptcy Law Office. And today I'd like to talk to you about how to file bankruptcy if you are self employed. But first, if you need any additional information regarding bankruptcy, please head on over to hollinsbankruptcy.com. You can always give us a call here at 866 86 Bills. Now, on to the question how to file bankruptcy when you are self employed. Now, starting your own business in general, it can be overwhelming. I know that firsthand. You don't just have to worry about operations, supply, getting your business off the ground, advertising. You have to kind of also worry about the finances, the cash flow, and how that happens. A lot of businesses stumble in that portion where the finances maybe didn't come together like you thought, or the sales weren't up, especially in the pandemic. If you have a type of business where you count on foot traffic or you count on word of mouth, and folks are not necessarily connecting like they used to now. Maybe your business is such that it does not convert over to virtual well, and the return on your investment may not be what you thought it would be. Then you may be looking at bankruptcy as a solution for that business. Now, there are going to be some requirements for filing bankruptcy if you are a self-employed individual. So anyone who files for bankruptcy, if you're filing Chapter 7 or 13, you have to provide statements of your income and earning history. Now, this is an easy thing to do if you are employed working for someone, and that you can just go get a earning statement, from your employer, or you can just gather some check stubs, and that should be sufficient to show how much money you've made in the last 2 weeks, 2 months, 3 months, 6 months, a year. But these are not readily available if you are self-employed. Not all the time, unless you did, from the business, cut yourself a check. And so that's why it is, interestingly enough, it's important to show other documentation that can reflect your income and earning history. Now, some of those documents could be bank statements to show where monies were pulled out for income purposes for yourself. If you have monthly or yearly profit and loss statements from your accounting firm or your accountant, that's great. Payment receipts, if you have made payments to yourself, tax returns, that is a good way to show income as well. And then there are other documents that you could get from your accountant that show income disclosure. At time maybe doesn't, I don't have time necessarily to go and point to every document. But these income disclosure statements, they should be sufficient to show that you're self-employed, and show what your average income was for the last 6 months prior to filing bankruptcy. Now, there's also a requirement I'll just throw in here that you show 4 years worth of income documentation, annual income documentation. So you'll probably want the 4 years of tax stubs, 4 years of tax filings, along with the 6 months of income statements, whatever the documentation is that you choose. Now, if you are stating your monthly and yearly income on bankruptcy forms, which is required, you have to put what you make every 6 months or every year. That's something you have to do on the petition. Now, just stating that is good, but you have to actually prove it. And although you complete the income disclosure statements, you swear under oath that this is accurate, and it's pretty straightforward, you still have to prove it. Now, if you have kept really good books, and you've, month to month have great P&L records, then this is nothing that you should have a problem with. But if that's not the case, then you are going to be looking at grabbing bank account statements, going through those. Maybe there are contracts or invoices, signed statements that could also be used. If you're filing Chapter 7, you'll need 2 years of tax transcripts or the federal tax forms. And if you're filing Chapter 13, again, you'll need the 4 years of tax statements and federal tax forms. So what's next? Well, after you have all of this documentation and you give that to your bankruptcy attorney, they will complete your petition. If that's me, I would complete the petition. I would file it for you, and you'd be assigned a trustee. The trustee is in charge of going through the documents to make sure that there is no bankruptcy fraud, make sure all the assets, income, expenses listed are there, including the assets from the business. And that can be the sticking point. That's where I come in to make sure that all of that information is covered. And that is the idea, is that you get a discharge moving out of there. So that's what happens. I just want you to know again that we have your back here at Hollins Bankruptcy Law Office. If you find yourself self-employed or not, and you like to file bankruptcy, feel free to go on over to hollinsbankruptcy.com, where you can get information and also make an appointment on the website. You can also just give us a call at 866-86-BILLS. That is also a place where you can make an appointment to speak with an attorney. And that is a 24/7 number. So you could call at any time. Someone is available to pick up and to set you up with that appointment. Well, if this information has been helpful, I hope that you subscribe to this channel. I hope you hit the like button. That helps to get our ratings up. And if you know anybody who would need this information, please share it with them. Again, my name is Michael Hollins, and I'd like to thank you for listening.